Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd with my friends at yarnspirations.com. Today is the Caron Colorama Halo, and it's a beautiful yarn, and it transitions here, and the color that you're seeing is called Blue Raspberry. So whether you decide to go from the outside of the ball to the interior, the next ball you're going to want to go from the interior out in order to get the transition that you see. So you can see when we go to start it, they started from the outside of the ball, they worked their way all the way to the interior, and then the second ball they used the interior and started working out. So this particular one uses a ball and a bit when it comes to this. So if you wanted to do a second shawl, which is a great idea, I would start from the end of this color here, start again, and that will take you to the other side of this. Okay, so if you started going there, so you'd be around here, you'd go outward and then grab the next ball and go from the blue back inward, and it would be a completely different color shade opportunity. So this is using a 6.5mm size K crochet hook today, and my favorite part, yes, you know me well, if you don't, now you do. And my favorite part, of course, is that big crochet diagram on the back here. We're going to want to place in our stitch markers here in the middle so that we can keep an eye on it, and it's just a repeat of 7 and 8 over and over and over until the cows come home. And when you're doing that, it's going to naturally just grow on itself, and then the edging is the final when you're ready. So after the end of doing number 8, you can apply your edging. I'm going to use an older color of Caron Colorama Halo today because I have extra stock left over from before, and I'm going to play, and now is our opportunity to learn something new. Let's begin. So let's begin by creating a slip knot, and let's chain a total of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and slip stitch to the 4th one away to create the center ring. And now when you go around the center, the left over here, you're just going to trap underneath the stitches so you don't have to weave those in later, and we're ready for row number 1. Row number 1, we're going to start. We're going to be using this strand later, and that's in row number 2. So here we go. We're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and put 2 more double crochet into the center of the ring. So we have 1 and 2. Followed by a chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in the center of the ring again, a double crochet. This is the very center of your shawl that would be running down your back. And then we're going to chain 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And in the center of the ring again, the last 3 double crochets go in. So we have 1, 2, and 3. At the end of each row, just turn your work, and we're going to begin row number 2. If you went over top of the straggler like I did, you can just safely cut that down. Be done with it, and let's move on to row number 2. Row number 2, you're going to chain 4, which will count as a treble. So we say 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in the next 2 double crochets that you have, there'll be 1 double crochet each. So you're going to notice is that your edging will always be the same on both sides. Now you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And in this chain 5 space right here, you're going to apply 3 trebles, chain 1, and 3 trebles. So wrap the hook twice for a treble and do that 3 times. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then followed by a chain 1, and then again 3 more trebles into that same spot. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to head to the center that runs down the back, and you're going to chain 2. I'm recommending to you, just in one of the chains, just put this stitch marker through it so that you can see it. and just let it hold there, and therefore that represents the middle of the shawl. So in shawl work like this, what happens on one side happens on the other. It's like a mirror. So now we're just going to head over to this chain 5 space, and we're going to start with 3 trebles. So we'll count those together. So we have 1, 2, and 3, followed by a chain 1, and then 3 more trebles in there again. So we have 1, 2, and 3. We're now going to chain 3. And in the last 3 that you have, the first 2 will be a double crochet each. So we have 1 and 2. And what do you think you're going to do in the turning chain? It'll be a treble because we started off with the chain 4. So wrap the hook twice, go right into the turning chain. Don't go into a space, and just go right into the chain work for a treble. And that will conclude then row number 2. Let's turn your work and let's do row number 3. Row number 3, we're going to chain 4. Yes, it's always going to be the same when you start. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the next 2 double crochets will be 1 double crochet each. This will not change until you get to the edge border. So now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And in this space right here, you're going to apply a cluster. And how you do that is that you yarn over and going into that space, pull through 2 and hold. And do that a total of 3 times. So that was 1, yarn over again, in, pull through 2 and hold, and 1 more time. So yarn over and in, pull through 2 and hold. Once you see your 4 loops there, you're good to go, and you're going to yarn over, pull through all 4, and there is your cluster. You're now going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and look for the chain 1 space that is in between the 2 groups of the trebles that you see right here. So it's the next space technically. So you're going to single crochet there, and then you're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to hit the center point now, and this will be a double crochet first, and then we're going to chain 5 again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and double crochet into the space. And I would do it on the opposite side of that stitch marker if you're using those. And it's still the same space, I'm just doing the opposite side of it. And what I would recommend then is move that stitch marker up to that space. It's just to let you know where that center point is so you don't get lost. And pull it up and leave it in the existing, and you can see a line that's going to run through this whole thing as you go. And as you get bigger, you can just keep pulling that up. So you don't need a huge strand there. So what happened on one side happens on the other. So we're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I am going to single crochet into this chain 1 space. Okay, so it's after the treble. And then we're going to chain 5. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and look for this space right here. It's after this group of trebles, and we're going to do a cluster again. So yarn over and into the space, pull through 2 and hold, and you want to do that 3 times. Once you see the 4 loops, you're done. Pull through everything, and then we're going to head into this area here, and we're going to chain 3 before you do that. So 1, 2, 3, and then you have your 3 stitches left. So the first 2 will be double crochet, and what will that turning chain be? Yeah, that's right, it's going to be a treble. And if you didn't say treble, then you meant to say treble. Okay, so this here is row number 3, and we're gonna turn our work, and you can kind of see how things are starting to work out. Let's go for number 4. Yes, you are going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next 2, yeah, you got it. It is a double crochet each. Now you're going to chain a total of 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And right in this space before the cluster, you're going to apply 3 trebles, chain 1, and 3 treble. This is what causes the growth on this whole thing. So you're going to start with 3 trebles. And then you're going to chain 1. And then 3 more trebles into that same space. Feels wrong, but it's right in every way. Now, because this yarn phases, it's going to be changing its tones really slowly. You may not notice for a while. Once these 3 are in, this next space right here, just single crochet right around the space. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then see this next space, single crochet there. Now we're going to get ready, and on this side right here, this is the middle one. We're going to just focus on this side of the middle though, and we're going to start with 3 treble, chain 1, 3 treble. So let's just do that. Okay, 3 treble are in, chain 1, and again 3 more treble into the center. This is what also helps do the growth. You're now going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and I want you to move the stitch marker up. So just pull it through and then keep on going. So starting on still the center point, you're going to do 3 trebles. So we have 1, 2, and 3, followed by a chain 1 and 3 more trebles again into the center. There's a lot going on in the center. So when you look at it here, so this is what helps grow it to be more in the future, and so is this, and you're going to notice it will expand naturally on its own. So after that's done, we're going to single crochet into the next chain 5 space. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the next space right here. And then into the next space after this, you're going to do the same thing of 3 treble, chain 1, 3 treble. So let's just do that. I'll do it quietly. Three trebles, chain 1 and 3 trebles. And then after that is done, we need to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now you have your edging. And so the first 2 will be a double crochet each. And what is the last one going to be? It'll be a treble into the turning chain. Try to get 2 of the strands on top of the hook for being extra secure. And that's what this looks like. So that was this row here, number 4. Let's turn our work and do number 5. So in this row here, number 5, you're going to notice is that one row we focus on clusters and the other row we focus on the shell work, which we just did. So that's how this growth is going to happen naturally. So row number 5, we're going to start off with chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next 2 double crochets will be a double crochet each. The first cluster out is going to be in this space right here, but you need to chain 3 before you do it. So 1, 2, 3, and cluster right into the next space. Essentially, it's like a 3 together double crochet, to be honest. So once you see the 4 loops, just pull through all 4. Now the rest of the jumping is all going to be chaining 5s until you get to the other side. So we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go to the space that is in the middle of this group. So you have 3 double crochet or 3 treble, chain 1 and 3 treble, it's right here. So single crochet there, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now the game plan is going to change. So here there's going to be a cluster, chain 5, and a cluster all within this space. So let's do our cluster first. Chain 5, and a cluster again. You're now going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and see this group here. There's a treble, chain 1 and a treble. Just use your fingers, just pull it apart if you don't see it. You're just going to single crochet into this spot right here. Now you're going to chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in the middle here, this is where the stitch marker is, you're going to apply a double crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in the same center spot, just double crochet again. Now, move that stitch marker up to the middle of that group so that you'll see it again in the future. And it's getting a little bit shorter, so I can just pull up on it just to keep pulling it up so I can see it, and we work down the opposite side. So to start again, everything's in chains of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We come into this next space after the 3 trebles, single crochet, and then chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And into this chain 5 space right here, you're going to do a cluster, chain 5, and a cluster. Sorry about the dog. So we have a first cluster going in, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a cluster again. Pull through all of it, and then chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come into this chain 1 space after this treble, single crochet in, and then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now you're going to cluster in this chain 3 that's close to the edge. So we'll do a cluster first. And then you're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then you're back on the edge. And it's going to be 2 double crochet to start, and then a treble into the turning chain. And that'll complete row number 5. Like that. So let's turn our work and lay it down. and it's turning out pretty great. So let's move along to row number 6. Let's begin row number 6. Chain 4, and then 2 double crochets in a row. You're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and in this chain 3 space right here, you were going to apply 3 treble, 1 chain, and 3 treble, and I'll do it quietly with you. So 3 trebles in, chain 1, and 3 more treble. Reach on over and get this next chain 5 space and just single crochet there, and that stabilizes that and holds it into position. And now we're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go to the next space right here. So it's before the cluster. So every time you're putting in these clusters of a cluster, chain 5 and a cluster, this becomes the new shell work that will happen, which is part of the expansion that you'll see happening. So once this one is in, you were just going to reach on over to this that's in between the 2 clusters, and you were going to apply, yes, that's 3 trebles, chain 1, and 3 trebles. Are you starting to see a pattern? Hopefully so. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. So start with 3 treble. Chain 1 and 3 trebles. Are you seeing the phasing happening at all? I'm not seeing it yet. I think I need more of it to really see it happening. It's a nice gradual change. So 3 treble, chain 1, 3 treble. You are now going to single crochet into the next chain, and this will hold it down. And so you see that the 2 treble, or the 2 clusters here, become the foundation of a fan in the future. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then come into this space here and single crochet. Now in this space here, it's just like we did here. So it's 3 treble, chain 1, 3 treble. Then you have your middle, which is chain 2, and then 3 treble, chain 1, and 3 treble again. So we'll just start. So we'll put in our 3 treble to begin. I think that was a double. We'll try it again. Okay, chain 1 and then 3 more treble. That is still part of the same side. So I'm staying on the one side of the stitch marker to help me keep more organized in my head. So once the one side's done, chain 2, and I would move the stitch marker up so you can see it again in the future. And then do the opposite side of the same center point, so it'll be 3 treble to begin. Got to keep remembering to wrap that hook twice. So we have 1, 2, 3, followed by a chain 1 and 3 more treble. And that's all happening at the center point. Okay, so let's come down the opposite side. The next space is going to be a single crochet followed by a chain 1 or chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet into the next space. This one here is the clusters. So right in the middle, so the cluster, chain 5 and a cluster, is going to be your 3 trebles, chain 1 and 3 trebles. So let's do that. chain 1, and then 3 more trebles. Once that's done, come to the next space, single crochet, and then you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet into this next space. In the last space before the edge, it's going to be 3 trebles, chain 1 and 3 trebles. I don't know what that banging is. I think it's outside. So we have 3 trebles to start. Chain 1 and 3 more trebles. Okay, so that's all there. And now you're going to chain 3 and then do your edging with what you know. So it's going to be 2 double crochet. And what will the last stitch be? Yeah, that's right. It's going to be a treble in the turning chain. So let's turn and work, and we're ready for row number 7 and 8, which is the repeat for the whole thing until you're ready for the edging. And this is the back of your shawl here, and you can really see it come in together now. This video has time markers in the video description, so if you would just want to review 7 and 8 over and over, you can just open that up and just click on that time marker, and it will start you on row number 7. So let's begin row number 7 next. We're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 double into the next 2. Are you getting used to this pattern? Let me know in the comments how you're doing. Okay, so now you're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to cluster into this same space right here. We did that same before, if you recall. So hopefully you're starting to see a pattern happening. Followed by a chain 5. Everything is in sets of chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want you to single crochet into the space that is going to separate this group. And yes, you're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right here in this space, we're going to create our cluster, chain 5 in a cluster, and this will be looking like this. And so it's shifting over so that we can create more space to make more of these. So we're going to cluster, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and cluster again. So this is the foundation for another shell that will happen in the next row. And so we keep repeating the same instructions until we get to the center point. So every time you're doing this row, you're going to have more of these to do. So you'll chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and always separate then the next shell here. In the chain 1 space, just put a single, and then you're going to chain 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this space we're going to do another cluster, chain 5, and a cluster. So these spaces will get more and more as you're working its way out. Chain 5, and cluster again. So in this case here on row number 7, is just that we're going to end up in the center point, but if it wasn't, you're just chain 5, and we're still going to chain 5 anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you ran into another one that looked like this, you single crochet it, chain 5, and then put in another cluster if you have another space like this. In this case, we're about to run into the top, so you're just going to have more of these as you go in the repeating. So single crochet and separate the first group, so it's after the first treble, or the first 3 trebles, and then you are going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then double crochet into the top. And then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I would move that stitch marker up so you can see it again in the future. And if you're comfortable without it, then don't, just leave it out. Once the 5 is in there, double crochet into the center again. And now we're going to come down the opposite side. So chain 5 to begin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Separate the shell that you see there with the chain 1 space. Single crochet there. Then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this space right here, see how it's in between the shell work? This space will be the new cluster. So it'll be a cluster, chain 5, and cluster. So look for those repeating to make it easier for yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then cluster again. So it's only close to the edge that there's a cluster by itself, and all the rest of the clusters always share the same space when there's group 2 like that. So chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into the next space. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have another space. So these spaces will get more and more the bigger that you grow. So it'll take a while to get to the edging eventually as you grow this thing out. So you're going to do your cluster, chain 5, and cluster again. Okay, so then if you had to add another one, it was chain 5, and then you would go into the middle of another group of like this, and so on until you get closer to the edge. So I'm going to chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the chain 1 space, and then you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is just before the edge, so there's just going to be one lonely cluster by itself. So we have 1 cluster, followed always by a chain 3, and then you worry about your edge. So 2 double crochet to start, and then the last one is a treble in the turning chain. Okay, so this is repeating row number 7, and so it'll just get wider the more that you keep doing that. Let's just do row number 8, turn our work. Row number 8, chain 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and double crochet in the next 2. So now we're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and you see what you did 2 rows below, see this? So you're following with what you exactly see below. And so we're going to do that here. So we're going to do 3 treble, followed by a chain 1 and 3 treble. If you see me doing a double crochet by accident, it is a mistake. Sometimes my mouth and my hands don't do the same thing. I don't do voiceover work like other hosts. So chain 1 and then 3 more trebles into the same spot. So really this row is all about filling in the spaces that you created in the last row, and the last row is what creates the growth to happen, and this one just follows the suit really. So now that that's in, you're going to come to this space, single crochet, and then you were going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then single crochet into this space right here. So the clusters are going to hold those big shells, just like it did before. Okay, and so it'll be 3 treble, chain 1, and 3 treble. Just like that. You come to this next space, single crochet in, and chain 5 to jump. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and jump. And then in this next space, you see the 2 clusters. That's going to be another one of these 3 trebles, chain 1 and 3 trebles. This is actually a really easy pattern. I thought it was going to be, but it truly is. Are you seeing the phasing happening yet? I think I can see it slightly getting darker. Once that's in, single crochet to the next, and then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet to the next, and now you're ready for the center. So the center is exactly like you see over here. So it'll be 3 treble, chain 1, 3 treble, chain 2, 3 treble, chain 1, and 3 treble. Let's do that all here and move that stitch marker up in the middle. Okay, and chain 2, this is the center, and then come down the other side. So it's going to be 3 treble to begin, but it's the same space, don't forget that. So I've been noticing Yarn Inspirations is using stitch markers more and more on these shawls, which is a great idea. Chain 1 and 3 more trebles in. So if you trust yourself with the middle, then you don't have to use those stitch markers. But if it makes your life easier, which I think it does, then you just keep moving them up as you go. There's no harm in that, right? So come down the other side. So you're going to single crochet into this next chain 5 space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then single crochet into there. And this here is going to be another one of those 3 treble, chain 1 and 3 treble. And noticing that the 2 clusters are below. So that helps you to be able to know that you're doing it right. I'm sorry if I'm mansplaining. Am I mansplaining? You can let me know in the comments. So you're going to go into the next space, single crochet, and yes, you're going to jump again. So chain 5, single crochet in the next space. There's the 2 clusters that you see. So this has to be one of those big bad boys here. So the 3 trebles will go in, followed by a chain 1 and 3 treble. Okay, single crochet into the next. Just let this work tell you what it needs to do. So chain 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next. And then in this space before the edge, it's again one of these big bad boys. So it's 3 trebles, chain 1, 3 treble. I have a hard time saying treble on these videos. So 3 trebles. because I don't use that word very often, I think. Chain 1 and 3 trebles again. And then what are you going to do after these last 3 trebles are in? Did you say chain 3? If you didn't, that's okay, I never heard you, so let's just say you did. So chain 3, so that's always consistent, and then you come to your edge. So the first 2 are doubles. And what is that last one? It's a treble into the turning chain. So this is the end of row number 8, and the consistency now to get bigger is going to be becoming more and more obvious. You can see that it's kind of flexible and it's really quite pretty. And let's go back to the diagram and let's talk about your growth, and the growth is working out just wonderfully like this. So in the diagram, what we've had here, now we just did row number 7 before, and you can see that there's going to be 2 clusters when we did it the first time in number 7. The next time you're going to do this now for row number 9, you're just going to repeat these steps, but there's going to be an extra cluster because you have an extra stitch going into this. And so the extra cluster, you're going to have a cluster here and here and here. And then you'll do row number 8 again, just filling in all those spaces, and then you'll have an extra one of these shells that you were putting in. And so that'll happen on both sides. And so every time you're now increasing, you will have 2 clusters groups here. It'll be 3, and then it will be 4 and 5 and etc. So if you want to keep a note on that, you can do that. But what I'm ready for now is to show you how to finish this off when you're ready. So at the end of any row number 8, so after these shells have gone in, you're ready for row number 1 of the edging, and that's where you're going to begin. And let's begin our journey from that point. So on the first one, we're going to be ending right here. No matter what you did, row number 8 will end you here. And when you start the next row, which is the first one of the edging, you're going to just automatically treble into the middle one here, and then you're going to chain 1 and treble and keep on doing that. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these all have 9 that you'll see right here. And the only difference is that the middle one, there is a total of 6, and then you're back to your 9s all the way to the edge. So you're gonna have a lot more of these to do because it's gonna be much bigger, and that's all you just need to do. So when you get the first set in, chain 1, and then you're just gonna half double crochet into the space. So just see what these fans are. You're just creating a fan on top of a fan, if that makes your life a lot easier to know that. Let's begin the edging, row number 1. So it's just a matter of repeating all yourself until you get to the center, which I will show you how to get there. So we're going to start, and you're going to look for this space right over here, and you are going to start with the treble. So wrap the hook twice and go right into the space, noticing that I'm not chaining 1 or anything before I start. So this is considered 1 of 9. So chain 1 and do it again. So treble and chain 1. I would not necessarily count as I go, but you can do that and just put in a whack of them, meaning many, and just do it until you think you have 9, and then just recount. So just keep chaining 1 in between. Okay, I'm gonna stop and see how many I have. So don't forget to chain 1 after the last treble. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have to do another one. So 8, chain 1 and wrap again. And do 9, and don't forget to chain 1 after. So verify you have 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you're just gonna reach to this space and just half double crochet in the space and chain 1 and restart again. So look for this space here, and you're gonna keep doing that until you get to the center. So just reach on over and put in your 9, and then chain 1. Don't forget to chain 1 in between all of it. And you're going to keep going to the center. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Keep on going. Just make sure you chain one after each. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you just reach on over and half double crochet to the next space. So keep doing that on all of these, and I will meet you at the center point. So you're going to put another group here, another group here, and I will see you right on the center point. So you'll have a lot more to do, and I will be back at the center point in a moment. I'm now here at the center point, so I'm on the one side. So in the center point, I do not chain one after this, the 9th one, and I just go right into the center point and I start applying 6. And after I get the first one in, I start chaining 1 again. So 1 is done, and 2, don't forget to chain 1 after. This is 3. 4, 5, and 6. And after the end of number 6, do not chain 1. And you're just going to reach over to this space right here and start going down the other side. And the first one, you do not chain 1 to start, but you start putting your 9 and then chain 1s, and then chain 1 after that group, half double crochet into the space, chain 1, and then you'll put your 9 in, and etc. And I'll see you at the end of the row in just a moment. So keep on going and let's get this done. So when you're coming to the final edge, you'll have one big fan here. You have all of this here, and all you just need to do in the turning chain, just slip stitch. So don't chain 1 after that, just slip stitch into the turning chain, and then you're ready for the final row, which is number 2 of the edging. Okay, so it'll look like that. So let's turn our work and let's do the final row together. The final row should be relatively quick, and you should just chain 1 and single crochet in the same one as the slip stitch. And now you're going to chain 2 and go to the space after the first treble. And then you're just going to chain 2 between them. So just chain 2 and go to the next space. And single crochet and chain 2. Let's keep doing this on this fan, and I'll tell you what to do next in just a moment. So what I'm looking for is when the fans change over to the next fan. So I'm looking for the space of the last treble right here. And I've single crocheted, and I'm gonna chain 2, and I'm gonna immediately jump to the space after this next treble on this one. And so I start again, so single crochet, chain 2, and keep following that up. Okay, so when you get to the end here, you're gonna single crochet in the space before the last treble, chain 2, and then single crochet into the space after this treble, and make sure you're chaining 2 in between. Please do that, and I'll see you at the top peak in just a moment, so at the top back of your shawl. So I'm coming up close to where the middle is, and I'm just chaining 2, and I'm looking for where this fan stops, which is right here, and where the middle of those 6 are. So I'm stopping in the space just before the last one of this fan, so then chain 2, and then I jump into the space after the first treble of the next, here, a group of 6. So it's like it was before, there's just 6 instead of 9. And so you chain 2 after each one of those, and when you're finished the 6, you just jump to the next fan. So this is the space before this fan finishes, chain 2, and then jump in the space after the next fan starts. And then chain 2 and work your way down the other side. And again, handling the spaces in between the fans like you did on this side. Please do this all the way to the end. I'll be right back. So I'm coming to my last fan before the end, and I'm just working my single crochets and chain 2s. And the secret will be then after the second last one, so before the last, is single crochet and then chain 2. And I am going to single crochet then into the turning chain right here. And that will make it balanced on both sides. And so therefore you can weave in your ends using your tapestry needle. And so you're going to be able to tell which is the good side and the wrong side. So this is the good side of the work, I can tell, because these are kind of cupping away to me, and these are kind of cupping away from me. So this is the back. So anytime you have to weave in your ends, just focus on the back of your shawl. So when you're wearing it, only the good side is facing up, that people see when they're looking at you. And just take your loose end and just weave it into the work. Stay within the same color. Okay, so if your fading colors are more pronounced, just stay within the same color. And just weave in your ends back and forth a total of 3 times. And once you have that done, you can safely cut your work. And your ends would be in, and this would be an example of what it could look like. Pretty neat, right? So this here is the Fading Shells Crochet Shawl by yarnspirations.com.